Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, I'll make you co-host, right, sir?
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Neelam Chaudhary, Headmistress, Sage International School, Ayodhya Nagar branch. I heartily welcome Speaker of the session, Mr. Rajesh Avasthi, other eminent educator, parents, teachers, and all those who have joined us. Now, I would like to give a brief introduction of the SAGE group. SAGE Group, a leading business group of Central India. Its presence exists in real estate, electrical infra, and education. SAGE International School functions under the patronage of CMD SAGE Group engineer Sanjeev Agrawal. He is an exemplary leader who has innovative mind. He motivates and inspires us to focus on growth even in tough times. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker of the session, Mr. Rajesh Avasthi, who is an experienced principal with a demonstrated history of working in the think tank industry. Moreover that, he is a trainer, CBT and NLP practitioner. We welcome you, sir. Over to sir.
Okay, thank you, Neelam. And I extend my sincere thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk to the learned crowd. And when you were showing the slide, it was written bringing happiness to the society. So that is a wonderful line, a wonderful motto, which I think that every institution should go for. So I'm really glad to see this. My dear friends, today we are going to talk something about the post-lockdown or the post-pandemic teacher, as I have been asked to do so. Since the schools were off and all of a sudden it all happened. So for the schools and for the education fraternity and even for others also, it was really very difficult to understand that, what actually is happening or what actually is going to happen. And there was a drastic change. We see all of a sudden it was a surprise, it was a miracle happened, something like that, and nobody was actually aware that what is going to be the future. The situation remains the same today also, even because there is a lot of uncertainty that when we are going to come out of this lockdown, when this pandemic will be over. People have started talking about living with corona. So there's a lot of anxiousness, a lot of anxiety amongst all of us as a teacher, because we all are missing school. And especially for teacher, this is something which is very new, that you start teaching online, use technology, you can see students, but then that emotional connect is somewhere missing, and for which the teachers, they are known. So let's talk about something on the emotional well-being, something on the mental health, how this lockdown, how this corona is going to affect us. And let's talk about what we should be prepared of when this lockdown will be over, when this pandemic will be over. I mean, if we see this, it's a, as I said, it's a big disruption, and it happened, after the World War II. I mean, before this lockdown, especially for educational institution, it happened only during World War II, where many countries closed down these schools because they all were engaged in war, and then there was total lockdown for educational institution. And now, if we see after 70, 75 years, again the similar situation is in front of the educational institution. But then the difference between the two lockdowns is that now technology has stepped in, so it has allowed us to function, to continue with the learning, the be in touch with our students. That continuity is maintained, and this is going to bring a lot of change in the education system. It will bring a lot of change individually in the school system, as well as it will bring a lot of behavioral changes among students and the teachers also. And since we are still not very clear that what is going to happen, we are still in the phase of uncertainty. So what are going to be the far-reaching effect of this corona, the long-term effect of this corona on the education system? So today we are going to talk about something, as I said, related to the emotional well-being, and how we should uh, greet the students and treat the students when they'll come to a school. Still, I say that it's too early to talk about opening of the school, because we do not know and we do not want children to be exposed to all these health hazards. But then too, this is the right time to think about what the students they must be going through in their mind, as well as what we as a teachers are going through, and be prepared for the schools to reopen. So the role of educator is going to change, and it is more towards facilitating the development. So one thing which I see now is that, with this virtual learning, the online learning, and the online learning, uh, there will be a difference in the teaching learning pattern, what we are doing in the regular school and now what we are doing. In my very personal opinion, it will not be exaggerating to say that once we'll reopen, we'll not have the threat that we may go under lockdown. Maybe pray to God that the situation will not come. But then too, we cannot deny the possibility of having the lockdown for the school for some other reasons. So we need to prepare ourselves for these unseen circumstances. And then the very first thing, which as an educator, we have to build the resilience amongst us. I mean, resilience is something, the capacity of recovering quickly. So we need to be more resilient to the situation. And also, we have to make students also resilient to this situation. It hardly makes any difference whether we are doing this online or we are doing offline when the school will reopen. But then this is the first necessity which the teacher is required to do. The second thing which we have to adopt is the flexibility and the adaptability. Now, I was talking in the morning in one of the session that this online teaching has given us a lot of flexibility with respect to time and with respect to the learning, as well as we have started accepting that there are other ways of teaching, there are other ways of learning to what we have been following. the most important to me is the emotional intelligence that we need to focus, and we'll see this because
Hello? Hello? Can you all hear me? Is sir disconnected? Hello? Sir is disconnected? I think sir is disconnected.
Sir's voice is not audible.
Wait, I'll contact. I'll contact.
We can hear you, ma'am, but not sir.
अच्छे से करो बेटा, वेरी गुड, और अच्छे से करो।
There is no voice, no communication, ma'am.
Hello.
Sir, ma'am, share.
You're not able to hear him now.
Yeah, ma'am. Sir's voice is not audible.
so this is going to be the another problem, which you will be facing of getting disconnected for various reasons. So please excuse me for this because there are certain issues which are not in our hand. However, so we were talking about more focusing on the emotional intelligence of the children. At the same time, we have to ensure that the learning, the continuity in the learning is maintained. And at the same time, we have to see that how we have to teach now. I mean, especially if we talk about the senior classes, so we need to be more entrepreneurial in teaching, and at the same time, we need to shift to more concepts and the skills to bring out the creativity and critical thinking amongst children. So how we are going to do this? So we need to be more focused now on the life skill part, which is the behavioral part. We always call it, because that is something which is observable. So you need to be more focused on the creativity, communication, and collaboration, empathy, and emotional intelligence. If we see this thing, if we try to bring these things, so one thing, as we were talking about the technology, so we have to unlock the technology to deliver the education. Now, what do we mean by unlocking the technology? So there are two ways of looking at this thing. Number one is that you use technology as a tool to use. So, I mean, it is technology for education and technology in education. So rather, technology is going to be one of the prime tool in teaching in the coming days. The schools have already started using technology, but then at the same time, we need to be very clear about the use of technology and the right type of technology which we are using. If we see what is happening currently, is that the virtual classroom are considered as the technology which is right to teach the children. Now, virtual classroom, the way I am talking to you, is just a part of the learning. It cannot replace the teacher. I mean, we have to be very particular about these things, that technology cannot replace you a teacher. I mean, there are certain drawbacks with the technology also, and the biggest drawback with the technology is that this technology is widening the emotional gap between the teacher and the student. So the emotional connect what you have in the classroom, you do not have that emotional connect sitting far away at distant places. But at the same time, the beauty of this is that you are connected to all your students, to all your fellow teachers, in spite of sitting at your home, or everybody is at distant location. So it has got both plus and minus points. But then the important thing is that technology will help you to a certain limit. It will provide you a platform, but beyond the technology, then it is the teacher who will be more important. There will be n number of issues with the technology. Number one is that accessibility to the technology, that is it accessible to each and every student? Is it accessible across the school? Is it accessible in the right perspective of using the learning and teaching? And will it promote learning? And how we are going to measure the outcome? These are all big question marks when we talk about technology. It is something, in earlier days, if we see, earlier days means that pre-pandemic days, we have always said that technology, no technology in the school, and technology to us limited to so-called the smart classrooms. Now the concept of smart classroom is totally out, because you don't have that material with you at home. So the concept of smart teaching has come into existence. So the smart classrooms are now replaced by the smart teachers. At the same time, we have to see that to which age group we are teaching with this technology. Why I am paying the emphasis on the use of technology is that in this uncertain times, you do not know that when again you have to close down the school and again you have to shift to the technology, or the regular school and the technology will go hand in hand. You have to ensure that technological aspect of learning should not affect the learning actually. So learning is not what you are trying to teach, but then is technology affecting the psychological or the emotional aspect of the students. If you see the student is spending 2 to 3 hours per day on screen, then it definitely will affect the physiology of the student, as well as it will affect the psychology and the emotional part of the student. At the same time, how you are going to make your lessons interesting through this technology, because one of the drawback of using technology is it is very good when it comes to lecturing, but then the schools are not, the classrooms are not meant only for the lectures. You conduct a lot of activities in the classroom, which are individual activities, which are group activities. So how you are going to bring that aspect when you are teaching online? These are all questions which you as a teacher need to think, because you only can come out with the solution. You may have suggestions from people, but then you have to find out the solution, because this is directly linked to your effectiveness. So you have to unlock technology in such a way that it actually gives you the result which you want, the outcome which you want, and which should be measurable. Now, if we further proceed from technology to the real world, when the children they come to school, what is important is establishing a routine and maintaining a clear communication. I mean, this is somewhat which is very, very, very important. Just think and try to visualize is that when the school will reopen, when the first day children they are going to come, will it be the same first day which was last year, or which was before that? So the day one, will there be any change in 2020 on the first day? Now what those changes will be, and how you are going to deal with those changes, that is the point to think, to ponder upon. So you need to have the very clear communication right from day one. And even if you are having the virtual classes, through virtual classes you need to communicate to your students in such a way that they feel themselves psychologically safe, emotionally safe. You may have your school, your management may do lot of put lot of efforts in maintaining the school as a safe place, but then those are all the physical measures where you may have some sanitization tunnels, you may have social distancing and all, but then what about what is happening in the mind? So there you cannot go and sanitize with something with some chemical, which is 70% alcohol and 30% of other things. You cannot spread those things. So if you need to sanitize your mind, you have to take all the negativity from the mind of the children out, throw it out, and fill it with the positive thought. Now, why this is important is that what the children are facing and what the teachers are facing today sitting at the home, they are different. And students may not be very clear about what phase you have gone through or what phase you are going through, as well as you cannot assume that, with what phase the children they are going. So, both the worlds are totally different. And if we need to synchronize these worlds, it is very important to understand each other and to develop a routine. And if we just try to synchronize these things, the first thing is that the safety needs will be taken care of, the stress level will go down. And even if you ask simple question that how are you feeling, not about not being in the school. So when you have this online classes and when you have the first day in the school, this question will actually tell you that what is happening in the student mind. I mean, if you see how you are feeling sitting at home, if this question is be posed to you, then what will be your answer? You will have different answers. Some of you may be really enjoying it. Some of you getting frustrated because you cannot move out. There are a lot of household chores, so many things happening. Some of you might be missing the work. Some of you might be worried. those especially who are teaching senior classes may be worried that, how I'm going to complete the course of 10th and 12th. Similarly, same kind of worry will be there, those who are teaching Montessori classes also, that, if the school will not reopen the new admission nursery, how I'm going to teach them online, how they will respond to my online things, how I'm going to develop a rapport with them. Now, these are all things, going in your mind. Same things are there with the parents and with the children. So it is very important. First thing is that you should establish a routine. Then you have to see certain behavioral aspects, the relationship and well-being. I mean, that should be the priority rather than focusing more on discipline part, more on completing the assignment part. It is very important. We as a teacher focus more that the homework should have been completed, the student should be in order. But then you have to see that what is the state of mind of the parent, what is the state of mind of the student. So you try to address those things, the emotional well-being and the relationship which you are going to build to the students. We all are facing these things, for the first time. So we do not know how to deal with such kind of situation, because what the most we have faced is somewhere somebody has called Bharat Bandh for 1 or 2, or it's raining heavily cats and dogs for 3-4 days, or it's very hot, or it is very cold. So 3-4 days holidays and then come back to school. But we have not faced this thing where, the schools are closed and at the same time everybody is in fear. So this is something important to build the relationship with the students, and it is the responsibility of the educators, to communicate. I mean, irrespective of whatever challenge the student and the teachers they are facing, but then whatever efforts they are putting in, not doing about the assignment, but then fighting with this time should be very well appreciated. At the same time, you need to display your investment. Now, what does this display of the investment means? Is the display of the investment is not in terms of any monetary investment, but it is the investment of the faith, investment of the trust, investment in understanding each other. And so children should be, comfortable that if we are not doing the assignments, if we are not performing well, the teacher understand that there is some issue behind not performing this. Now, again, many educators, they talk about how to deal with slow learners, how to deal with the students, those who are not performing well. The situation remains the same, because the slow learner is slow in the physical classroom also, in the traditional classroom also. And then whatever steps you take there, the steps you can take here in a better way, because here you will get a flexibility to get one-to-one to that child, and at any point of time you can have one-to-one conference with the child. So that flexibility in time will help you to deal better with one-to-one children. At the same time, you can share, in order to build the confidence, yourself and the children both together can play a simple game and talk about, one tough moment and one hopeful moment of the day. So when you are interacting with the student, just ask them that what is the toughest thing they find in a day or yesterday, and at the same time what the hopeful moment they find in a day. And then you can have the same thing shared with the children also, at the same time with the fellow teachers also, because you need to be competent enough to come out of your own emotional stress before taking out the students from that stress. So that is going to be, a one complete experience, a one complete lesson which the students will learn about themselves. Then another very important issue which everybody is at present scared of, me as a principal of a school scared of, you as a teacher, and that issue is of the safety. What is going to happen when the schools will reopen? How we are going to create a safe learning environment? Now, just I'll share with you in one of the meeting when we were discussing with the state government about opening of the schools and what is the right time of the opening of the school. There were few questions, and one question was that what happened if after reopening of the school a child is found positive or a teacher is found positive? Well, let's pray that no such thing happens. But then, if this thing happen, then what we are going to do? How we are going to see that everybody is safe, everybody is corona free? I call it in a lighter note that every second person is seen as a corona bomb. That somebody is carrying a corona bomb inside, and then if you meet that person, you get affected. So this is the biggest question to us. I'll give you the example. Last month, the Spain government announced the reopening of the schools. Spain and Germany, these two were the countries which announced the reopening of the school. And you will not believe, till now, the attendance is hardly 15 to 20%, and the parents, they are very skeptical about sending their children to school for all safety reasons. Why? Because, as I said, that physical safety measures you can take up. So you can have a desanitization tunnel, you can have the sanitization of the classroom, sanitization of the buses, but then what is inside my body, that nobody knows. And if we see the biological part of it, the symptoms appear after 10-15 days, and in many of the cases now coming that the symptoms are not appearing. So how we are going to make our student safe? And at the same time, all these things, when it is coming to our mind, it is bringing anxiety, it is bringing fear. So as a teacher, if you come to know that somebody is positive, how you are going to react to it? So, it is more the emotional part of safety rather than the physical part of the safety, which need to be dealt with students. And it is your responsibility to explain to students that, why you are safe in the school and how we can follow the safety in the school. At the same time, this is one part of the safety, but the psychological safety which I am talking about, there are other crises also which the student and the family is going through. I was reading in the newspaper that some of the parents, they have requested the school that they are the only bread earner, and then they don't have a very huge business, but then rather they are more into this vegetable vendors and some auto people, those who are running autos and all these things, and there is no business, and then they cannot pay the fee. Now the children also know that my parents, they are not going to pay the fee. Now how you are going to make them comfortable? I mean, as a teacher, it's a policy matter, so you cannot take any decision of the fee waiver or any other thing. But then you have to console the child and make him comfortable that, if he comes to school, he'll not be bullied by anybody. I'm using the word bullied purposely because, we call the students and then we give a lot of circular to them. We'll ask them, request the parents to pay the fee, and every child has impact of these things in his mind. So this also is a part of psychological safety, that it's not only safety from corona, but safety from such traumas also, which the teacher has to take care when the students will come to school. I mean, the schools which we belong to, and the children, the families which we have as our parents, they may not have that kind of traumas what others might be having. But then, if a broader scale, if we see, there are many people who might be losing the job, who might be losing the business, and how we are going to make them, continue the learning, taking out all these traumas from that. That is the big question. So one thing is that, you can make them feel safe. At the same time, connectedness. I mean, you need to present yourself in such a way that the student should feel free to come and talk to you, and he sees you as a support system. So you are no more a teacher now. I mean, you are actually a teacher, a counselor, a therapist. I mean, any name you can give to yourself. So that faith you need to develop, and how you can do it. So you can make time to ask the students about something fun they are doing right now, where you are trying to build a new neuro pathway, what they are coming up with. Greet students by name and create a touch-free or a virtual routine to invite connection either online or at the lunchtime. Plan activities through the use. Lunchtime, why I'm saying lunchtime? Because there are schools which provide lunch. Like I am from Indore, so all these schools here provide for lunch. Now, how to do, it's not possible everybody sit in the dining hall and then have them lunch together sitting shoulder to shoulder. So there is one way of doing it, that we prepare the lunch packet, we keep the lunch packet, the students will pick that lunch packet and then go and eat in the class or eat in the ground. So this is where I have written at the meal pickup. Then plan activities through the use of web conferencing site and allow students to see, hear, and interact with each other and their teacher. Now, what is happening and what I feel is that somewhere in the normal routine, when children go to summer vacation and everybody is in the vacation mode, but this is the time where the parent and the children, they need some support from the student. So in some or the other way, you should keep yourself connected to the parent community, to the student, and then update them, appraise them about how you think the new school will be, how you think the new normal, the term which is very common nowadays, will be, and how children will come to school and what they will face and what fun they will have in the school once they'll come back. So this type of connectedness will help you in designing something better in the classroom, in the school. Then another thing, what the teachers, they need to work on the post-lockdown is to create hope. This is again a very important part. Now what hope is the expectation that everything will work out and feeling that things will be all right. I mean, this is the normal sentence which we use every time, that don't worry, things will be all okay. But then by saying only that things will be all okay may not work this time, because everybody wants to see that how things are going and what are going to be the result. Many people, children, even teachers, if I say, must be feeling discouraged, must be feeling hopeless. As I said, uncertainty. So uncertainty itself shows the hopelessness, that I don't know what is going to happen. So I don't know what is going to happen. Now, this is a very negative sentence. So if we use this sentence in a positive way, that though this is uncertain, but at the same time, we are taking some measures and things will be all right and we will make things all right. You and me will work together. This is somewhere, you are trying to motivate them. You are trying to encourage them to face the situation as they will come. We have to keep this thing in mind, that the way you are going to deal with the teacher, the same mindset with the students, the same mindset they are going to make. So you need to be very positive. You need to be very motivated, and take that motivation level with them by behaving in a positive way. At the same time, if you talk about children, so what they like the most. So in the most liked list, they have their co-curricular activities, they have their music, they have their dance, and moreover, the most important thing is going out in the ground and playing. Now, all these things are going to stop. Now, when all these things are going to stop, what children they will do? I mean, they'll just come, attend the lecture, and go back home. So all the fun from their life is gone. Now, how you are going to bring that fun back to your life? What is going to happen? Suppose just that, today you have a session 4 to 5, tomorrow next to my session again you will have a session 5 to 6, and then again 6 to 7, and every day we start with at 9 o'clock, we end up at 2 o'clock, and you have one session with due breaks in it. The life will be boring. The life will be boring. So what you are getting, you are not interested into it. What you are experiencing outside the school, you are not interested in it. So where will you go? Where your mind will go? So you need to encourage them. You need to motivate them to have some fun in the life and create some fun in the life. And what we can do about it? How we can do about it? So have students connected with somewhere in the family and the community. Now, this is one of the experiment which we have done, and this experiment was that there was a child, and this child, I do not know how, got very panicked about the coronavirus, watching the news, reading the newspaper and talking. And since everybody in the initial stage was talking about corona, and he was very afraid of the word corona and getting panicked. And every day, what is going to happen? And a very senior child, senior most class, what is going to happen? Are we going to survive? And then somehow, we tried that, try to connect somebody in the family rather than we explaining, somebody in the family. And then, one of his grandfather, he came forward and then he explained that, some years ago when he was a child, something happened, and then, how they fought with that time, and how they survived during that time. And that actually worked. So you need to connect with the family also for the behavior with children they are exhibiting in the classroom. Then you need to motivate students to go for some physical activities. Now, for physical activities, it is not required that you go out and run the physical activities in the ground, but then there are certain activities which they can do in the balcony. There are certain activities which they can do in the in their house also. So you encourage them to do such kind of activities, and then at the same time, you need to share with them, some stories, some facts about the current crisis, that what is happening current, how the vaccine is getting developed, what measures the government is taking, what measure the local administration is taking, what measure the school is taking, and what measures they can take at home. usually what happens that, whenever we come across some situation, we think that, this is not the age for the student to think all these things. Even the student of class 4 comes and talks to you about all these things. We say that, "Arey, tum bachche ho, you did not bother about these things." No, somewhere, we are trying to suppress the curiosity of the child, and because of that, there are lot many unanswered questions boggling the child's mind, and then he is trying to have his own, trying to frame his own answers, which may not be correct and which may be dangerous at times. So talk to students about these things, that how we are going to fight together with such things, and try to prepare them. If you see, a beautiful example of this is that how Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi has dealt with this situation. So he started with a one-day lockdown of Janta curfew, then he extended, and every time he came up with a new slogan. And everybody knows, he also knows that, there is no remedy to this thing. And, slowly and gradually now we are prepared that we have to live with Corona. So once he said that we have to live with Corona, everybody started talking about, we have to live with Corona. What does living with Corona means? So living with Corona means that we do not have any as such remedy for these things. There is no medicine, there is no vaccine for this. So living with Corona means that there is a threat. We know that, at any point of time we can also be a victim. So let's follow certain protocols to prevent such kind of infection in us. So this is where, slowly and gradually you prepare your students to face these challenges, and how we are going to go about, how we are going to walk with Corona in life. Then, talking about the emotional well-being. So how and what we can do when something is promote self-awareness by having students review the feeling chart and share how they are feeling. So you can ask the students to make a feeling chart. So they put up the time, and then they make a 2-3 columns where they write the incident and then what kind of feeling they had in the incident and what they do. So if these 3 columns they fill every day on the regular basis, you will be able to find out that these students, they are becoming self-aware that such kind of event is giving me such kind of feeling, and then how to control him. Then some of the exercise you can do that, whatever their feeling is, ask them to rate on a scale of 1 to 10. So suppose, I'm feeling bored. So I am feeling bored on a scale of, so say 8 or 9 or 10. So this way, you can address and make them self-aware, and then they have to fight. You cannot fight on their behalf, so they have to fight. Then some quick mindfulness activities. Then there are certain breathing exercises and all that can also be done. Then there is a 4-corner breathing, like we do pranayam, we do anulom vilom. We can do 4-corner breathing also. They can go in different corners and perform these activities. Or the other way is the 4-corner breathing is that they inhale by counting of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they exhale with 1, 2, 3, 4. So this way, they get more oxygen to their brain and then feel better. So anxiety and stress will go down. Then some activities such as drawing a picture about how their lesson or a day is going, or showing the most important thing that happened to them all the day. Teachers can complete this exercise first and share with the students to model how to share with others in a way that feels safe, helpless, and connected. Drawing is one of the best way of expressing ourselves, whether it is the fear or whether it is the joy. And by that, you can guide the students to bring it, to make him normal. But at the same time, following the instruction given in the aircraft when you fly, that whenever the masks come out, first you put the masks and then help others. So this is what we need to follow as an educator also. So you also need to practice self-kindness and remember that it is the best to take care of yourself before you try to take care of anyone. Take time to check it with yourself to gain insight into where you may be struggling. Once you identify the issue, work to create plan to address the issue you can control and work on letting go of the ones which you cannot control. It is one of the best exercise. Make a column that there's something happened, I can control it. Yes, I can control it. No. So if you can control it, then control it. If you cannot, then you are not in a position to do anything. So let the things go. This will help you to come out of your own anxiety and your own stress. At the same time, like you do in the regular school, right now also you can talk to your fellow teachers. You have a video conferencing now. Google is giving or WhatsApp. You can make a video call and have tea together. I mean, try to do something which is unusual, and then that will bring you out of the stress. Then you create your own routine and work according to that routine. Then see, you need to understand that you are also a human being. You are also an adult. So whatever other adults are going through, you will also go through the same. So first, you have to safeguard yourself, and then you go to others. Then, I don't know, something. Then what are the risks and the challenges if we see? So the risk and the challenges, one challenge is the technology. So technology, if it's an opportunity, it's the biggest challenge. Then you have to decide that how you are going to take up this new approach of teaching and learning. Then another thing is that you as a teacher, among yourself, create a support group for your support group. When I say so, in terms of their learning and coming up with more effective things, then you need to see that during the closure of the school, how we are going to remain connected with the students. So don't focus on teaching the students, but then try to focus on being connected to the students. Then opportunities to leverages, the one thing which is there, that this is the time to have the blended learning right now. Since you are working very hard and there is time flexibility, I have seen a lot of appreciation from the parent side for the teachers' effort which they are taking. With the virtual classes now, the parents, they are also part of the virtual classes. So a lot of appreciation I have seen from the parent side to the teacher. And there is one more thing, is that the teachers, they have started exploring beyond the boundaries of the book and beyond the boundaries of the school. So that will also bring a lot of effectiveness amongst students. So these are some of the things, if we keep in mind, I think that we'll be able to deal with the students in a different way and create a safe and learning environment in the school, the post-lockdown. And at the same time, these are all suggestions. The final decision is on every individual and every teacher, that how they are going to face this situation when the children, they are going to come. But then such kind of suggestions will definitely help in greeting the students when they'll come back after the post-lockdown. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk to you people. I extend my sincere thanks once again to Neelam. Thank you very much. And if any questions, quickly one or two we can take up, because after 5 minutes we have another session.
Sir, although I have prepared many questions, but most of them were covered in your, presentation. But then also
you.
I have one or two. You explained so well. You told us how to take care of emotional well-being of students after lockdown when they rejoin the school. So many things you covered. Then also I have one or two questions, sir. Like, do you think there will be a complete change of mindset for many parents regarding upbringing of their wards? I mean to say, like previously they were, completely away from doing household work, but during this pandemic, they are all, they need to do work because they are not getting, domestic help. Even they, if they are getting, they are scared of taking it. So, do you think that the mindset will change?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very hopeful for this for a few reasons. One, the reasons which you said that, this is the best time to inculcate values and life skills among children. So parents have done this wonderfully. I have seen that in many houses, the students were asked to clean the utensils or to broom to help mother because, we do not have any domestic help. But then the other thing which I have noticed is that this was the first time, I believe, when parents, they were totally spending quality time with children, because there was no business, there was no service in them, it's only interaction. So I have seen that lot of interaction, positive interaction amongst the family members, and then they have shared a lot many things from their childhood, and maybe if the grandparents are there, they have worked as an asset. So there is a very good bonding between the parent and the student. So what we used to call it as a generation gap, or children they do not think, it has been covered to a large extent.
Thank
And
you,
at the
sir.
same time, they have understood that how much pain teachers they take, by sitting in the virtual classes in the school. So that's why they have got a lot of appreciation for teachers also.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So, another question, sir. Do you think that homeschool or unschooling concept, which is already has taken shape in our country prior to pandemic, would grow further in our country?
Well, I do not support homeschooling and I do not support unschooling. Why? Because learning is an emotional phenomenon. So you have got a lot of courses available if you go for the sites like Udemy or edX. But then you actually do not learn anything from those courses. So you have a lot of information, but then you cannot convert that information into knowledge and then into your behavior. So homeschooling and this thing earlier, it's a very old phenomena in US, which was not very well taken by the citizens of US. It came out from US. But then, yes, virtual education, if I say, which is blended with the regular education, will be the new norm.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I again thank on behalf of the SAGE group also for spending your valuable time with us and giving us so valuable tips and the preparedness in the school, also for the teachers and children along with parents. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Pleasure, mine. I thank you very much for the patient listening. Thanks a lot. All the best.
So just one more minute. We would like to share a digital certificate for you. Thank you, sir.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really honored. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.